Good morning. Good morning. So back at it again. I will be doing the exact same thing, just going over everything that I'll be doing today while I work. So just a quick recap. A lot of stuff is going on. Uh, so let's look at some of these alerts that have gone off. Make sure that's the oldest one there. Right? So last week, yeah, I guess it was last week. Last week, I was talking about how I was waiting for price to come down in here, give me some projection, and then get in for a buy all the way back to the top. The other option was for wait for price to get up to this section here and then take a sell. And so I was not in and around the computer yesterday. This would have been around yesterday. So Sunday evening, all the way until Monday early morning, to have gotten into an entry here, but it would have worked out. So I was tracking this one here. I did not take a trade, but I was just once again looking. We're on the 1 hour, so go down to the 1 minute and look to see what an entry would have looked like. Come here. So we had, the wick of the 1 hour closed here, waiting for price to create the low to be broken. Did come down, came back up, so would have set a break of the low, with stop just right above the wick. Actually, this wouldn't have been above the wick because it would have been wick size. That's really small. Wow. So 26, and then come down here for a break and gone for a 1-to-1, and it looks like it would have hit it for 1-to-1, and then a 1-to-3 is it wouldn't have made it to a 1-to-3 before turning back around. So yeah, so that's how that would have worked out. Would have gotten into the trade, depending on how you manage the trade. You could have could have banked some or gotten out of break even. And so now, what is the plan? The plan is roughly to wait for price to come back down here, give a bounce, and then see where it takes you. So that is that one. What else do we got? Has gone off. USD CAD. USD CAD played in this area here. So you could have taken an entry here. It's not much rejection in here. You had some rejection back on the yesterday around evening time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. But it wasn't deep into the zone. So it could have gotten in, maybe might have hit targets depending on what this looks like. But yeah, nothing there. So, well, I mean, there is something there, but nothing that looks doable there. Now we're just waiting for price to come up into this zone here. 1 hour zone there. Let's put this zone back on there. Well, no, we haven't had any good bounce here. I'll put the alert back on here just for when price gets back over here, I'll be able to see what's going on. We haven't had a really good bounce. That was the first good bounce out of there. This would have to make it up here in order to make, to be a viable option to come back here and get into a trade. NZD USD hit this zone here. Unfortunately, I don't know what I was waiting on. Was probably waiting on something like this breakout. Came back over, because if we look at came back down, we probably would have been looking here as a possible entry. So come back here just so we can look and see how price worked out. So I would have waited for some sort of high to be created so it could be broken. If price wick down here, came up here, yeah, so there wouldn't have been an entry, because really the only high I had to work with was this one here. This would have been the original wick as it was created and as it was coming back down. So it would have been twice that, but then I would have been waiting for the breakup here. So actually, I wouldn't have been in this trade yet, well, at all. And then I would just ignore it. So let's see where we're at now. Now it's just a mess. So we're up here in this daily zone. So I'm actually waiting for a daily close in this area here. Daily 4 hour. Okay, cool. So 4 hour zone. Although this more looks like daily. I would like to see a daily close in that one. So let's change that to daily. 4 hour zone. If I had to look on the 4 hour, it would be a whole lot smaller. The 4 hour area would be somewhere in here. Yeah, that would be the 4 hour area. Rejection area, in which case it already came in rejected. Don't know if I would have been in that trade. It's not really rejection when you look at that small wick. Yeah, it's not really rejection. So could you have marked it up anyway? Yes, we've done it before. We can do it again. Unfortunately, because of that, you only have so much little area to work with. Price didn't come down, create the low. It just wicked right up. You created the top wick first, and then rolled over. So there would have been no entry there. So that's generally what happens whenever you get these smaller wicks, is you just don't have an area to work with. Once price does its thing. So I'll wait for a daily close in this one. Nice daily close wick rejection here would probably be able to give me another opportunity to get in. We will see how that goes though. CAD JPY. I think I marked this up yesterday, so it wasn't actually recorded. But basically, we got a nice little trend here, waiting for a pullback into this area here, as the trend has kept going up with higher highs and higher lows. And then had an alert set there because it's like I want it somewhere in the area of the trend, either down there or at a previous structure. This is the structure low, although you might be able to count that as a structure low, but to be safe, it would be down here. So I just threw the position tool on there of what it would look like. Trend trades are a little bit different as far as stops go beyond the previous structure levels, versus like using wicks and my wicks for two candle, and then support and resistance a little bit different as well, because sometimes I'll throw the stop a little bit well beyond the support resistance zone just to be safe. But so we'll see how this one plays out. Just watching that one, see where it goes. USD JPY, same thing. We had this nice little uptrend, and it looks like it's going to continue ticking on. We have this resistance up here that would be a 4 hour resistance. It's like, okay, if price is going to make its way back there before finally dropping off, then this would actually be a viable choice. Price shouldn't break this area here. Yes, you could come down here for the low, but given you have this trend up, and then you have this smaller trend here, and it's like if this trend and this trend are going to be respected, it would make sense that that price wouldn't break below here. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. USD CHF, I am waiting on this. It's broken up. I need it to come back down, give me a retest, and then I'll look for a continuation. So somewhere in and around this area here, as it comes back, pulls, you got double confluence there. So 2 layers that you can hide your stop loss behind. That would make sense. And then just probably looking for a higher high, possibly all the way back to the highs here, if not the daily zone. Is that the daily zone? That looks bigger up here. But yeah, I guess that is it. Yeah, that daily zone up there. So we'll see where that goes. Euro GBP is a mess. What happened here? We're in a zone. Okay, so I was waiting. If price was going to continue this downtrend off of this area up here, which was really nothing. Why do I have that area marked up? It is something in the past. Okay, gotcha. I just didn't mark it all the way down that way, just so probably because I can control my zones. But if it's going to bounce off here and then come back, so it had pulled back here. I was waiting for it to come up around this area, which is about 50% of this move here before rejecting and coming on down, and I start looking for something there. In that process, waiting for it to come up, I was looking at the uptrend on the 4 hour, 1 hour, even better. Same concept as the other one before. We have a nice little uptrend forming here. I had a zone here, and then we had the uptrend structure or uptrend area around this area here. And I'm like, okay, cool. If price could come back in here and show some movement, then we can go ahead and get in and take it up. Now, fortunately / unfortunately, part of the game, price did get in here. I had an idea of just waiting till above this little consolidation area. This is about the time that I set it. So this was the consolidation at this point in time. It still continued all the way out through. Then the plan would be, once it breaks up this area, then go ahead and take it. It looks like, unfortunately, I would have been wicked into this and then immediately wicked out of it before it just shot up straight to the profit target, which is, it's part of the game. It's part of you take it, you leave it, you take some, you win some. So it would have worked out. So the idea is solid. It's just a matter of, okay, do I have a little bit safer stop loss? Maybe I put it below this previous low and then just go for a smaller target, 1-to-1. You can have a higher win rate and less of a big bang for your buck and still come out on top. So it's like, which one do you do? So that's that. Let's put that back where I had it though. So that's Euro GBP, and then we just heard GBP USD go off. I had a GBP AUD come into this zone here. We'll not be looking for anything here, only because we only had a half bounce here. So if anything, I'd probably wait for price to break and then come lower, or for price to actually make it up here and then come down. So we'll see how that works. That is a solid push out. I don't know, maybe depending on how this daily closes. If the daily closes nice with a good strong rejection, then I might look to do just a wick trade on that instead of a support and resistance, just so I can get in with a smaller stop loss, so I get able to reach targets easier, since I'm not really expecting this to bounce all the way up to the top, but I might be able to get a bounce if we get a good rejection. So daily 4 hour, we already had, it's 9. So that one already happened. So we can see what that looks like. So let's mark that up and see what we got. Come here, you're in my way. So 4 hour down to the 5 minute. We would be, so it's creating the high now, which is what I would like. So I want to see it create the high, then come back down to this area here. It doesn't really matter as long as I can usually get somewhere beyond the entry or the open of the candle. That way, this is the wick, and if it's going to come back up and bounce, it's gonna do it after I create the wick. So I'd like it to come down, and then I will take a entry about here before it goes up. If we've had, so if it comes down even further and then shows some rejection wicks and everything like that, then I'll possibly look to take an entry at the open of the candle. This one would be the size of the wick, whatever the size of the wick is, twice that. That way I can give it a little bit of breathing room, but I can let it go if it needs to. And I'm still playing with that because the idea around the whole wick creation first and candle flip is the idea that the wick's already created. Why do I need breathing room? And so I haven't felt confident enough to pull the trigger on that yet because I haven't exactly done enough of my forward testing, back testing to see how successful that is. I've done more back testing with it, but unfortunately, like back testing, it doesn't always translate well to the live markets. So just you got spreads that you got to deal with that you don't account for in back testing and things of that nature. So this will be the current plan. So I'm going to go ahead and mark just this area here. And I actually don't. No, I'll leave that. I was going to trade it to a trend line instead of a horizontal array. That way, later on, I don't have to worry about after 4 hours. Because if this next candle doesn't come down in here and hit this, then the next candle I don't care about because this is all based upon the wick rejection of this 4-hour candle. And I want to follow through with that wick rejection with the next 4-hour candle. So that's how that works. So okay, I'll just leave that alone. And the GBP USD, I was waiting for this to come in. It did come in. I got the wick rejection. I was waiting for the close of the candle. Good, we got that. Same thing here. We have price trailing up. It did stagger for a little bit, but we are at a high here, so it's understandable. Now, if price is going to reject here, then it's more than likely going to make its way back up this way. So it makes sense to take a trade. So we will do the exact same thing. We'll mark it up. We'll plan. Drop down to the 5. Nice thing about GBP USD is the spreads are smaller. So yeah, we got a nice double bottom. So what I'd like is a pullback, a lower high creation, or a higher low creation, and then a continuation. So yeah, this is looking pretty solid. Will it work out? Possibly. So we're creating the high, come back, create the low, take the entry, go. Or come even lower, take the open and go. And so we will see how that goes. This may set up before I even really get settled. All right, so that's what we have for now. We'll go over these a little bit later during another break. I'm probably in too many trades. Don't talk to me about that, but probably in too many trades, but we'll see how that goes. All right, see you soon. We had 2 go off. We have GBP USD setting up now. Already came down. It's coming down again. It's already set up. Comes down a little bit more. Might have to look to move the stop loss. And GBP AUD, it's coming down. So get that set up. Ready to go. Looking at something like so. See how that goes. And get back to it. So we've had a couple of things kick off here so far, GBP AUD and GBP USD. We had the 4-hour wick rejection. I was waiting for an entry there. Same thing with the with GBP USD. GBP USD. Actually, I might have to look at it again. Darn. No. Well, I actually can. I'll have to look at it. But it's coming back up. This would actually be the time for entry now. We'd be looking at, was it 28? So about 60 pips for stop loss, and entry about now. So let's see what that looks like. GBP USD 0.2. All right, 0.02. All right, that entry set up. I want to set up a hedge position at that right there. 22329. And we're in. Yeah, let me make sure. 22329. Yep, good to go. Okay, that one's set, going. Pulled back, never actually made it up for the first one, but then pulled far back, and then that would be the entry would be at the candle flip. So that is what we're waiting on now. And we'll see where this goes. 1-to-1's up here. Leave that there, and then we just have this for a loss or hedged. Hedged at that point in time, work it out later on. GBP AUD, same thing. It's still coming down all the way. I actually have the buy stop already set at 7522. So if this one keeps going, I might have to adjust depending on what's going on here. But yeah, I might actually have to see. Let's see what happens here. I'll put it above this candle here. That way, if price comes back up here, I can come back here quickly and look and see if price has moved beyond what I expected it to for the stop loss. So that's what we have set up for GBP USD, waiting for GBP AUD. Both are on a nice little 4-hour level that's been tested before. Just looking for a little pop out. And that's it. We'll let it ride. I was just checking back through some of my trades and realized I had closed this one. When did I close this one? I closed this one on the 23rd. Oh, look, got another one ringing on the 20th. So I closed it yesterday. Made a little bit of profit on that one, about $9. So it would have went a whole lot further, and I'm not exactly sure why I closed it. I didn't put that in my notes, but that was a winner. So good on that one. Just updated the spreadsheet, so got that on there now. Now, what's the current thing now? Just waiting for price to get back up to this level here. Don't really have anything clear here like we did before. This zone would be way too big, so it's just a matter of just waiting for price to break up to this level here and getting in. What are we looking at here? USD CHF crossing horizontal line. There we go. So I was waiting for price, if it's going to continue its uptrend, here's an area that it could potentially bounce from. The only downside is this really bearish candle that's coming into this level. That's a lot of bearish pressure right there. So I would need to wait for some rejections, probably a couple 1-hour candles. And then even then, I think if I were to get into something like this, I would then place my stop below this area here. Only because really I'm expecting price to come back in and around this level where it's bounced before. And it's not there yet. So it's come in there too quickly, with too much power. So I would really have to see some convincing, either rejection is some pauses, very similarly to stuff like this or things like this for a little while. So maybe like the next 4, 5, 6 hours. I would start looking at that. 4, 5, 6 hours puts us around the 5 o'clock mark for bankers hours, whatever they want to call it, but spreads widen at that point in time. So even then I would probably be looking to stay away from it until after that. So I probably won't look at this until later on the evening time. Probably, let's see, I'll go ahead and plan when I plan on looking at it. Let's say around 6. That's at 5. You're fired. So around 6, I will look at this right here, um, and we'll see what this is doing. So I'll go ahead and get rid of this alert so it's not tempting me to look at it too early, and you start looking at things, and you start making excuses on why you should be getting into the trade when really I've just played it out. And so if by 6 o'clock I haven't seen what I want to see, then who cares? Uh, yeah, really don't care. The only other thing that might be of worthwhile, even then, if it came down to this zone before 6 o'clock, chances are it's going to be nothing but bearish candles all the way down. That's a really, really strong run. Could it bounce? Yes. And so it sets up for a nice probability to bounce here. I'll add it in here. I'm looking for closure into this one. So, I mean, if it wicks into this and then immediately leaves, well, that won't give me enough room to get in anyway. So if I'm going to go, then it would be something like so. And with this deep pullback, I would probably be looking for a little bit of retest of the highs here. So probably for something like that. I probably wouldn't be going for a higher high, only because generally when it pulls back so deep, it does not take off as well. If you were to look back at something like this in this area here, when price pulled back this deep, it really only went to the higher high. Yes, it eventually came back and then made a higher high, but like if you were still holding this would have been a lovely little, like, just an ache on your heart as you made it all the way to let's say that's a 1 to 2, and then it came all the way back to less than a 1 to 1 before finally taking off. But like to see it plummet all that way, can do a number to your psychology. So if it's going to bounce that way, I'll probably want to go for that high, a little less than that high, because you never know, it could be creating a higher low. This could be a failed double top on like the daily or whatnot as it's continuing down. If we look at the daily, try not to get too many conflicting events, but like if we look at the daily, we have a downtrend that's happening. It's created lower lows, lower highs. We are wicking towards the area, around the area we'd expect price to turn around at. So, it's very possible. Is it also possible to make targets to hit my range before it does that? Well, absolutely. And so this is worthwhile. So set it up, ready to go. I'll let it play out. And if we get in a trade, we get in a trade. GUP AUD plummeted down. So I have closed off that one. I'm not even worried about that one anymore. GUP USD is actually going and is moving on up. So we'll see what that looks like. I got a little while before the candle closes. I am more than likely, because of the way it is going, I'm going to move my stops a little bit closer to this wick area and then just continue monitoring this as this continues to go up. I would like to get a 1-1 out of this. We are in an uptrend here, but we've also hit a daily zone that caused a reaction. So, I'll watch it carefully, because when you look at it from a higher area here, this could be the push that pushes us out. But remember, my entry is right in here. So I mean, even another little tug back would knock me out of this position, and I'd be at break even if I get my stops to break even, or a small loss. But like, why would I expect it to come all the way up here when I can secure some good profits where I'm at? So that's the current game plan, and then we'll just see how everything goes. All right, so we have a Cat CHF enter this range again. Doesn't look like I have much of wick rejection. Plus, we have this, it has this really big top wick, so it's already bounced in this area, and now it's coming back down. So we'll have to see. I'd have to have a convincing, probably, I don't know. We'll have to see. I might just go ahead and do something like so. We'll have to see. I think it's actually getting ready to ping that alert right there. So I'm gonna get double alerted. Yeah, so I hasn't even touched that alert yet. We'll have to see about that. I'm actually in a bunch of trades right now. And I have some CADs and I have some CHF. So I'm already like what you'd consider overexposed on on some pairs, on some cross pairs and everything like that. So I might just leave this alone and then just just track it. It's like, okay, what would be the game plan? Game plan would be we're in this zone. Um, it's been a strong level before. It's nice and clean. If it's going to bounce here, it's going to bounce here. Even my stop loss, my zone is actually underneath the lowest low here. Put it underneath lows. So I mean, it's in a safe spot here. So if it's going to go, it's going to go. At this point in time, with its uptrend, let's look at the 4 hour for a second. Yeah, with its nice little uptrend structure, I would probably go with at least making it to these highs up here. Probably somewhere right around that area. I'm going to look at this one as being a breakout, break back in of this area here. So I would expect to take profit somewhere before then. So this would put me on the 1 hour time frame, just taking a straight entry trade off of a break and retest during a trend. So it's a trend trade. Is it possible to have a safer stop loss to have it down here? Yes. What would that look like? It would still give a 1 to 4. So, I mean, that would clear us for that. Let's see. So let's go with no. Let's go with leave it as such. Little area down there. Actually, yeah. Let's go with leave it as such down here. Now, if we get a strong closure candle, 1 hour closure candle, then in my head, I'll go ahead and cut that as being not being held. And then possibly look at this area here as an entry. Or no. Yeah. So let's do that. New way, new route. Here we go. Entry here, get a solid close candle below. I'll go ahead and hedge at that moment. It'll be completely hedged. And then I'll just wait for an entry here. If we get an entry here with some sort of, looks like some sort of wick rejection, take another entry here and then go for it. Once again, looking at the other one, if it pulls all the way back here, then I'm only going to the high. I'm not expecting a higher high. From this area, I'll go higher high. And so we'll see how that goes. So that is the current plan. Let's draw that out. We're just going straight up here to a higher high, or very possible if it closes, we'll get hedged. If it comes down here and shows a little bit of rejection, we'll take it to here. Probably a little fun. Once again, looking at if this is a level, then consider that a breakout, break back in of that level. So I don't want to go to the high of that. I'll line it up with stuff over here. So there we go. So try to break out, try to come up. So we'll capture all that right there. So that would be that for that level right there. So let's see how it plays out. And then we do some sort of entry like so, with entry there. So these will be the two outcomes. And let's just see where they go. All right, let's pause the recording now and get back to work. So just to give you an update, I just closed GU. Looks like we come up to this level here a few times. And granted, we are making higher lows as we get up here. So that's usually a good sign that it will break through this level here. But with it being, 340, you got an hour left either baked over. I didn't want to, didn't want to just leave it going, and then spreads do some weird stuff and rob me of that. Plus, on the 4 hour, we pop back up into this level here where it's been support before, so we could get a small bounce out of that. And as I said earlier, from the daily perspective, like we're in an uptrend. We could be continuing this uptrend all the way up to this level here, but this might be another little pop away before it comes back and gives another lower high, higher low. Terms mixed up. Higher low before continuing up. So with that being said, if it is going to give a higher low, then it would knock me out. Given that I'm looking on the 4 hour and the 5 minute for this entry here. So talk about another higher low over here in this area, and well, there you go. I'd be knocked out. So see how that's going to go. See if this works. If this after this little incident here, if this kicks up above this area, which would be my TP, if it kicks back up and then comes back around and comes into this area here, could possibly look for another entry to continue up, as it would have maintained this bullish structure here, and probably come back to these highs up here before seeing possibly another rollover, once again thinking that it may come down this way. So we'll see how that goes, and then yeah, I think this may be it for the evening. So I might go ahead and close up shop now, do a little finalization here and there, and then check back in tomorrow. Cat CHF is still playing around in this area here. So we'll see how this goes, how this works out, if it works out. Which levels were we working with? So it looks like it's more of a 1 hour level than anything else. So yeah, it's cleaner on the 1 hour. So yeah, we had some pushaways, come back, pull in, and so yeah, go start cleaning this stuff up here. Then we will go from there. Let's clean this guy up, clean this guy up. We'd already be in that, so that's a nice little resistance level that we're waiting to pop above. If it definitely pops above, then we could look to either take an entry there or at least move stops to a little bit below it, and then just secure it there. Got another second opportunity if it happens to pull back beyond this level here and come back in here and show some rejection. That's also another opportunity there. So we'll just have to see how this goes. I don't see anything happening in the next hour, since this is the hour time frame. I don't see anything happening in the next hour. I don't think we have any CAD CHF news. No, so we're good. And then yeah, so I'm gonna close up shop, and thank you guys for joining, and talk to you later. Be blessed.